The Galactic Concord did not believe in executions anymore. At least that was the lie it told itself. Instead, it held trials. Trials were elegant things, ritualized, ancient, wrapped in legal language and moral superiority. A being was not killed by the Concord. A being was tested. And if the test happened to place the accused in an environment where survival was statistically impossible, that was simply proof of guilt or weakness. When the human named Elias Rook was dragged into the Grand Tribunal sphere, no one expected him to walk out. He stood alone on the obsidian platform, wrists bound in gravitic cuffs, surrounded by representatives of 100 species. Chitinous judges clicked their mandibles. Luminous gas forms pulsed with cold amusement. Synthetic minds watched silently, already calculating the outcome. The charge was simple. Unauthorized interference with a Class 7 death world. Earth. Humans had been warned. They had been catalogued. They had been told to remain contained. Instead they explored. They studied. They adapted. And Elias Rook, xenobiologist, systems engineer, problem solver, had done the unthinkable. He had survived where others had died. The trial will commence, intoned the High Arbiter. Subject will be placed in Containment Zone Black 9. Duration, 24 cycles. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Black 9 was not a prison. It was a grave. A living reserve where the Concord stored creatures too dangerous to exterminate and too useful to discard. Apex predators from 1,000 nightmare worlds. Beasts that hunted in dimensions humans couldn't perceive. Things that fed on fear, sound, gravity, time. No sapient had ever lasted more than 7 minutes. Elias looked up, eyes steady. So this is how you pretend you're civilized. The Arbiter ignored him. Space folded. Reality twisted. And Elias Rook vanished. He awoke choking on air that tasted like rust and ozone. The sky above Black 9 was fractured, layered with artificial suns and containment fields crackling like barely held breath. The ground beneath him pulsed faintly, organic metal mesh designed to regenerate after catastrophic damage. Something roared. Elias rolled instinctively as a shadow slammed into the place where his head had been. Claws the size of hovercraft blades carved trenches in the soil. A creature unfolded itself. 6 limbs, asymmetrical, eyes blinking in and out of existence. A phase stalker. Elias didn't scream. He ran. 4 hours he ran. He hid. He watched. He learned. He used rocks to test sound-reactive predators. He traced the invisible wake of gravity hunters by how debris bent around them. He burned half his clothes to distract a pack of echo wolves. By the 10th hour, he was bleeding, exhausted, and furious. "This is a zoo," he muttered, crouched inside the ribcage of something long dead. "And you idiots left the maintenance access open." He found it by accident, a flicker in the air where containment frequencies overlapped. Humans were good at noticing patterns others ignored. He pried it open with a broken neural spike ripped from a dead Sentinel drone. Inside was not freedom. It was control. Black 9 wasn't just a cage. It was a network. Every predator tagged, monitored, behavior nudged. The Concord didn't dominate these creatures through force. It conditioned them. Stimulus, punishment, reward. Elias laughed, a raw, broken sound. "Behavioral science," he whispered. "You picked the wrong species to test that on." By the 16th hour, the predators began to hesitate. The phase stalker stopped mid-lunge when Elias stood his ground, eyes locked on the spot where it might be. He mimicked the low-frequency hum the containment field used during feeding cycles. The beast recoiled. By the 18th hour, the echo wolves circled him without attacking, responding to rhythmic impacts on the ground. Beats Elias had learned calm their pack hierarchy. By the 20th hour, something ancient and vast uncoiled itself from beneath the reserve. A void leviathan whose presence bent light and sanity alike. Elias did not flee. He activated every beacon he could access, flooding the zone with the signal pattern the Concorde used to indicate dominant handler presence. The leviathan lowered its head. Not in submission. In recognition. The tribunal reconvened exactly 24 hours later. The judges were already preparing the formal declaration of death when the containment feeds activated. Black 9 appeared before them. Intact. Silent. And then the camera pulled back. Elias Rook stood on a ridge of bone and crystal, one arm raised. Around him, nightmares gathered. Apex predators from 1,000 worlds formed a living perimeter, some crouched, some coiled, some phasing in and out of reality. None attacked him. Every single one watched the cameras. "He's alive," whispered a delegate. Elias looked directly into the feed. Bloodied. Exhausted. Smiling. "You built a zoo," he said calmly. "You forgot something important." The arbiter's voice trembled. "Explain." "Zookeepers don't dominate apex predators," Elias said. "They understand them, respect them, and they never pretend the bars make them safe." With a gesture, he triggered a system override. Every containment lock shifted from restrict to bond. Black 9 didn't collapse. It changed. The Concorde did not sleep that cycle, nor the next, because Elias Rook did not leave Black 9. He stayed. He reorganized habitats, balanced predator territories, introduced enrichment stimuli, reduced aggression without neutering lethality. The nightmares thrived, became healthier, smarter, deadlier, and loyal. The Concorde panicked. Fleets mobilized. Weapons charged. Elias sent one message. Approach without permission. And the gates open. No one tested him. Weeks passed. Then months. Black 9 became something else. A demonstration. A warning. A truth the galaxy could no longer ignore. Humans were not fragile diplomats clinging to survival by luck. They were caretakers of monsters. When the Concorde finally abolished the trials, historians would mark that moment as the beginning of a new era. Not because Elias Rook survived, but because he proved something far more terrifying. Give a human a death sentence, and enough time to understand the system, and they won't just escape the cage. They'll take control of everything inside it, including the nightmares you were too afraid to face yourself.